The crucial conversation which I will be using for this assignment is a dialogue between my mother and me when I decided to quit lacrosse during my senior year of high school. I feel as if this is a great conversation to use for the assignment as it involved numerous factors which made it a high-risk situation. There were multiple parties with differing views, emotions were really high, and the outcome of the situation could have negatively impacted my relationship with my mother. So to give context for the situation, I've been involved in sports nearly my whole life, and my mother has played a very significant role in being a mentor throughout all the sports I've played. She has sacrificed her time, her money, and her energy in ensuring my participation and allowing me to play to the best of my ability. By me deciding to quit lacrosse, I almost felt as if I was ending an aspect of our relationship that has existed for so long. So for the actual conversation, I will reenact the situation with my mother and then analyze the conversation as a whole. I will identify what each party did well and what needs to be improved on, more specifically, focusing on moving the conversation back to safety, identifying the meaning of both parties, and analyzing how each party moved towards a mutual compromise in the end.
Hey Gray, how was practice? I'm just getting you ready, finished up.
It was alright. Can we talk real quick?
Sure, what's up?
Well, I think it's kind of an important topic, so can we sit down real quick?
Oh. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, before I start, I just want to say that I've been thinking about this for a while, and I just wanted to be honest with you about how I'm feeling.
Of course, I hope you know you can always talk with your dad and I about anything.
Well, the idea of quitting lacrosse has come across my mind a lot as I'm not really loving playing it anymore, and I kind of want to make time for other aspects of my life, such as work and school.
I can't even believe you're saying that. Do you know how much time, you've played for years, do you know how much time we've put into this as a family with all the travel teams? Do you know how much money we've put into this? And you're a senior, you're going to be a senior this year, and they have you starting as varsity. If you let your team down, and then, Grayson, you know what? This isn't even a discussion we're going to have.
Mom, I can imagine how you're feeling, and I've thought about this before coming into the conversation, but I really just want you to try and understand my perspective on the situation.
You know, Grayson, you're right. You're a smart kid, and I know you think about things before you just speak out. So based on that and the understanding that this has been heavy on your heart and something that you've given a lot of thought, yeah, let's sit down and talk about it. Maybe we can come up with a compromise.
Yeah, I think a compromise sounds great, and I know that I want to finish out this year, this season, because of the commitment I made, and I understand that commitment, and I don't want to let my teammates down, but then for next year, I can think about what I'm going to do over the summer.
You know what, that sounds like a good idea. That'll give you time to think, and as always, if you need to come talk with your dad and I about it, to walk through things, that's great. I know you'll end up making the right decision.
Now, as seen within the conversation, both parties treated each other with respect and attempted to understand each one's opinion on the topic. Despite this, emotions played a very large role as the conversation nearly moved to violence at one point. In order to prevent this and return to safety, I followed the 3 key steps stated within the textbook: seek mutual respect, contrast, and seek a mutual purpose. When I noticed my mother beginning to become emotional, I reassured my respect for her opinion and view on the situation as a whole. From here, we were able to contrast and understand that both parties had mutual respect for one another. We finally could work together to establish a mutual purpose by using the crib method. By committing, recognizing, inventing, and brainstorming, we were able to reach a mutual compromise and leave the conversation satisfied with what was discussed. Now, as time passed after this conversation, I ensured to follow up with my mother to express my feelings on the topic and understand her thoughts on it as well. By doing this, it showed a presence of mutual trust between the parties and allowed us to cooperate even further. Thankfully, within this conversation, I did not withdraw or label during the dialogue. These could have caused the conversation to move towards a very dangerous area and possibly compromise the situation as a whole. I was worried about these habits specifically because they were my highest scoring groups on the Your Style Under Stress test. However, I have fallen into these habits within other conversations and am still working towards breaking this. After applying what I have learned from class to this situation, I had the ability to see the conversation in a completely new light. Instead of viewing the conversation as a normal talk with my mother, I now see it as an experience which taught me new communication skills and in fact strengthened the relationship with her. I have been able to apply new skills such as the returning to safety method to other conversations regarding completely different topics. As I continue to learn new skills and practice ones I already know, I will become a more well-rounded communicator and can make a larger impact on the world around me.